Bickley and Marotta Mornings. Arizona Sports. The local sports leader. Bickley Blast.
Kevin Durant is a great basketball player with a very thick resume and very thin skin. He has over 30,000 career points and over 21 million followers on X. Put it all together, and it's a fascinating case study in standing the media. But first, let me say this. There is nothing wrong with wondering aloud about KD's legacy in Phoenix. Bill Simmons, among others, recently pointed out how many unhappy teams KD has left in his wake. Are we supposed to ignore all of this after what we've experienced the past 2 years? Are we supposed to ignore how the defense and the energy spiked during those 9+ minutes he sat on the bench the other night when the Suns delivered their best defensive quarter of the season? Or are we supposed to be blissful and grateful that Kevin Durant is in our small, dusty ecosystem wearing our colors? The answer from me is a hard no, but our concerns matter not to many KD stans. Now, granted, I can understand the confusion, especially after that embarrassing debut press conference that was dressed up as a pep rally in the Valley. Why wouldn't KD expect unconditional love after that show of bootlickery? But I must remind everyone, this franchise is bigger than one player. This franchise represents the love and the yearning and the heartbreak of many generations of Arizonans, and we are well past fawning over individual greatness. That ended in 1993, and now to us, a ring is all that matters, more than his flowers and more than his buckets.
They hate having you watch them. They hate playing together. They hate watching each other as they play basketball together. It's a pretty rare situation of a team that seems reasonably talented on paper, that we have these teams that bring the best out of each other, and this team just brings the worst out of each other for whatever reason. I have no answer for it. I was going to have a little segment for you later.
It should never be this bad. It should never be this bad. Like, as bad as they are, people can make fun of it or whatever. It's ridiculous they're this bad.
The Phoenix Suns tonight are trying to avoid a return to this type of criticism. Like, it was,
well said.
It was warranted on Sunday after what they put out there. We played the clips from the ABC halftime show from Stephen A. Smith and Kendrick Perkins and Bob Myers, and they were beside themselves at what they were watching in terms of effort. We saw increased effort and improved effort on Monday night. But look, this has been an up and down season, to say the least, and that's the goal. That is what is on the to-do list for the Suns. Avoid this type of criticism that has been out there, and rightfully so, for a good portion of the year. Now, Ryan Russillo said on that podcast he's done. He's pretty much done watching them after the Lakers game. So maybe it can be strategic. They put that out there on Sunday, and now they're flying under the radar. It's no longer an interesting story to rag on the Phoenix Suns because it's just too easy at this point. Maybe that takes some pressure off. I don't know. I was going to make the joke, too. Very strong blast, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
I was going to make the comment, incoming KD fan tweet to Bickley's account
in 3, 2, and 1.
But no, they don't listen to the show, so they're going to wait until the Bickley Blast is packaged for social media.
Right.
Then you'll hear about it.
Then I'm going to hear about it.
Follow us under Bickley _Marotta, Bickley and Marotta.
Yeah.
Bootlickery.
Bootlickery also stood out.
It's a word. It's a good one. It's a good one. But again, it's just laughable to me that this is what the narrative has become to a big subset of Phoenix Suns fans. That it's all defending KD against all the clown media in Phoenix that doesn't know basketball, that doesn't appreciate his greatness, that doesn't know anything. And that like I said earlier, for those of us who have been following this team for a quarter of a century, and that includes 2 of us in the room and many of us at the radio station, it's absurd. And I would say it's got to stop, but it won't. This is kind of a function now of the new world order when it comes to sports and sports media and athletes who have gigantic followings. These athletes know they have got a digital army at their beck and call.
Yeah. It's also very fun to be asked the question, who is you, by somebody who's got 17 followers?
That's fantastic. That is fantastic. And listen, and all this began during the game when John Voida and Gamble just pointed out how good this team looked in the second quarter without KD playing.
Which is why he didn't come in. So we have to
walk on eggshells around that. If we feel, how do you think the team feels if that's the case? I mean, come on.
I mean, obviously, we were I'm not going to say it was universal. When the trade went down, there was a very vocal, very upset faction of Suns fans that didn't want to see it happen. Because, and a lot of it was their loyalty to what they had seen from the guys that were going to Brooklyn in that trade, from Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson and what they were a part of. But a lot of those people, and they may have been ahead of the curve, quite honestly, because also in that podcast, Bill Simmons brought the point up, like Kevin Durant's played on a lot of unhappy teams in the 2020s, and he specified the 2020s. I mean, the end at Golden State, the Brooklyn tenure, things have not gone smoothly, and I don't think chemistry has been a real strong point for the Phoenix Suns of the last 3 seasons. But some people that were against that trade were kind of foreshadowing that's what's going to happen in Phoenix. And
Charles Barkley on our show when he called him Mr. Miserable.
Yeah, listen, so this has all been out there. This is not necessarily a media function. This is just things that you can ponder, right?
We got KD. Ain't that
something?
But the frustrating part of it is that these two things are so out of alignment. The Suns acquired a player who is universally regarded as one of the top 10 players that's ever played the game. And the results don't line up with that.
No.
It's not supposed to work this way. And that was the incredulous nature of the conversation between Ryan Russillo and Bill Simmons in that podcast is like, how could it be this bad?
Right.
That's what we've been asking as fans because and Kevin as a Durant show for 3 years.
Because Kevin Durant individually has been incredibly good.
Statistically incredibly good.
It's just it just doesn't make any sense.
Right, but is he a force multiplier? That's the question.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a fair question.
Or is he a rainmaker like Aaron Rodgers? That's what I heard him called this morning. Like the guy that comes in and it's always rainy and cloudy. That's Aaron Rodgers, and that's what the Vikings are struggling with. These are fair questions because when you look at the talent and the money paid for the team and the under producing of said team, it's fair to ask these questions. More to the point, it's appropriate to ask these questions. So let's hope tonight marks a turning point for this team in salvaging, if not a playoff run, which I think we both agree is largely impossible, just restoring some dignity and some hope for the future here.
Yeah, but in the pursuit of restoring dignity and hope, this is non-negotiable. This is a must-win. You can't lose this game.
Totally agree.
And feel good about what's coming on the horizon schedule-wise.
Thanks for watching Bickley and Marotta. Click to see the latest Bickley Blast and hit the button in the middle to subscribe to Arizona Sports.